Welcome back to Harbor. With just 57 days till November's midterm elections, we're focusing on the hardball 10. Those are the 10 key Senate races that will determine the balance of power in the Senate. Democrats are trying to flip 4 of those seats currently held by Republicans. Among the 4, the toughest reach, we all agree, is Texas. Democratic Congressman Beto O'Rourke, who's stirred up Democrats with his inspiring speeches so far, large social media following, and impressive fundraising, is looking to defeat incumbent Senator, there he is, Ted Cruz. And it's that surprisingly close battle that seems to have Republicans worried right now. The New York Times reports that President Trump's OMB director, Mick Mulvaney, recently told some party donors, quote, "There's a very real possibility we will win a race for Senate in Florida and lose a race in Texas for Senate. Okay? I don't think it's likely, but it's a possibility. How likely is a candidate? How likable is a candidate? That still counts." That's Mick Mulvaney, the OMB director, talking to party people. And Politico reports that a collection of conservative groups are launching a rescue effort right now for Senator Cruz. The report notes that the other Republican senator from Texas, John Cornyn, said he had a simple directive to GOP contributors, quote, "We're not bluffing. This is real. It's a serious threat." I'm joined right now by Rick Tyler, Republican strategist and former spokesman for Ted Cruz's presidential campaign, and Victory DeFrancesco, professor at the LBJ School of Public Affairs at the University of Texas in Austin. Thank you all. Let me go to Rick about this thing. Ted Cruz was never likable. That was never his selling point. He's an intellectual, proud of it, a hard conservative. How close is this going to get because of his lack of likability, according to Mick Mulvaney?
Look, he wasn't likable in Washington. He's been trying to fix that. Now he's not getting the benefit of that. Now you have Mitch McConnell and Cornyn, who people see as part of the establishment. Remember, Ted Cruz ran to the Tea Party against the establishment. They're now saying nice things about him. That's not good. He's also
that hurts him at home?
I think so. And I think Ted is likable enough in Texas. But remember, he said some pretty dramatic things about President Trump, and Texas is still a Trump state. He won by 9 points. But Texas demographics are changing, so it really remains to be seen. The big unknown is who's going to show up in November. And is his race emblematic of what's going on across the country? If it is, the Republicans are in real trouble. Or is it that Beto O'Rourke has just run an incredible campaign and raised a lot of money, and now it's a real race?
Let's talk about the Latino vote. Victoria, thank you for joining us. And just about this question, it's so ironic. You have one guy named Rafael, whose nickname is Ted. The other guy's real name is Robert, but he calls himself Beto since he was a kid. One's going to a Spanish nickname, the other guy going away from a Spanish name. And yet, it's not like it's an open and shut case who the Hispanic or the Latino vote's going to go for. What do you think it looks like now for the two of them? How are they going to share that part of the electorate?
Right. So what we see is Beto not assuming that Latino Democrats are going to turn out and vote for him. So in the primary, he won the Latino vote by the skin of his teeth, by 51%. So I think this is a blessing in disguise for Beto O'Rourke, because he has been spending the last couple of weeks in the Valley. He is not letting any Latino vote go untouched. So I think that this is very good. He's not getting the Latino voter making inroads just because he's a Democrat or just because he goes by Beto, but because he is doing the work. And lay on top of that, Chris, that he is so likable. He's charismatic. I would say that he is the male Ann Richards. Don't compare him to Wendy Davis.
Lost.
Compare him to Ann Richards.
But she lost.
Ann Richards.
Ann Richards lost. She lost to W. Ann Richards lost to W.
But before she lost to W, she was our governor, and she had that Texas bravado that was what got her into office in the first place.
Do you think the fact that Beto, I can't pronounce the Spanish way, but Beto, do you think the fact he's about a foot taller than Ted Cruz is going to help him? He's the tallest guy I think that's ever ran for the Senate. Your thoughts?
History would say that he probably would. There is a height advantage if you look just at the data on that. But I would say that in addition to the height, it's the bigness of his personality. Ted Cruz is more of an intellectual. He's likable enough, as Rick Tyler said. But Beto has the height, the boyish good looks, and then you add on top of that pounding charisma. He's got a winning combination.
Well, Politico reports that, quote, Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, the former sports reporter, showed up in Washington on July 25th to deliver an urgent plea to the White House officials. Send President Donald Trump down there. Well, late last month, Trump tweeted, I will be doing a major rally for Senator Ted Cruz in October. I'm picking the biggest stadium in Texas we can find. Isn't that going to be a love match, the two of them? He accused Cruz's father of helping to kill Kennedy. Are you kidding me?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. No. Don't say that, because people, people are going to believe it.
I am kidding.
Well, he wasn't.
Look, the thing about Ted Cruz has a lot more to worry about. It's not just a Hispanic vote. What's interesting about the Hispanic vote in Texas is 1 in 3 Hispanics in Texas are actually too young to vote. Yeah. The future is Hispanic in Texas, and if the Republican Party is losing Hispanics the way Donald Trump is driving them away, that's the future of our party.
What's that about? Because W used to get a very good Latino vote.
He did, because he understood the demographics that the Latino community is a growing community. The same with African Americans in Texas. 1 in 4 is too young to vote. So our party has to either appeal to Hispanics and Latinos and Asians, or we're just going to lose. We'll just be a minority party forever.
Everybody now knows that midterm elections are a challenge for turnout, Victoria. And the question I have to put to you is, how does Beto get out the Hispanic vote? Because it's down about, the last presidential election was 24%, about a quarter of the vote in Texas. That's actually a big, powerful block of votes. But it has to be a larger percentage of a block of votes for Beto to win, apparently. Your thoughts?
I think it's a combination of turning out that Hispanic vote, and we know that Hispanics are the least likely to turn out, so that's one challenge, and young people are the least likely to vote, so that's a double whammy, and that's why we see Beto making so much use of social media and just retail politics. But I think the other part of this is persuading independents, Chamber of Commerce Republicans to just not cast a vote for Ted Cruz. Maybe not vote for Beto, but just don't pull the lever for Ted Cruz. You can vote for any other Republican you want, just don't vote for him.
Well, I think I know where you stand. Thank you, Victoria DeFrancesco, for teaching me how to pronounce the name of the Democratic candidate. Beto. Thank you so much, Rick Tower. Thank you, Victoria. Up next.